Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm here with Deputy Chief Sylvie Hauth. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, my first question is, what is a deputy chief? What is your role?
Well, in the hierarchy of our police service, there's the chief, the deputy chief, and then we have what we call branch commanders. So as the deputy chief, I oversee the 5 inspectors who are the branch commanders, and I look after the day-to-day operations of the police service.
Wow, it's a big job.
It is. It's busy, lots to do, and lots to keep on top of.
Now, how did you get this role? What led up to you being the deputy chief?
Well, I mean, it's taken some time. Obviously, I started doing some education prior to even coming to policing. But once I joined the force in 1993, it was a lot of hard work, dedication, kind of putting my mind towards the goal. I knew when I started that at some point I wanted to be either the chief or the deputy. So it was a goal of mine from the get-go. So it's been almost 24 years, and yeah.
Now, is this a new position for you? Like, how long have you been in this position?
Just till January, since January. So it's only 2 months. Very new in the position. So I was an inspector for 5 years prior to that. I oversaw community services branch and the uniform patrol branch, and deputy officially since January 1st.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, what are some of the challenges that you see in policing?
There's a variety. I mean, when you look at policing both locally, provincially, and nationally, I think a lot of the service are facing similar challenges. I think one of the big ones often is technology. Can't always keep up. Technology is changing at a very rapid pace. And you see that services have to, like I said, keep up. Look at how they do business. Criminals sometimes are very smart and adept at changing, their tactics. And, there's very things like frauds, identity thefts, child pornography, things that...
And that all seems to be increasing, it seems to me. You keep hearing about it more in the news now. I don't know if it's because we're just hearing about it more or if it's actually increasing in our community.
Well, I think technology in some ways doesn't help. I think for some crimes it's making it more lucrative and easier to do, and it makes our job, I think, a little bit tougher just because, like I said, trying to keep up and stay on top of things.
Now, we live in northwestern Ontario. Is there any challenges to policing that you see living in this area?
Well, our geography makes it tough. We are kind of the central hub for many surrounding communities. I think we're not immune to a lot of the drugs, illicit drugs and gang activity. I think gangs and just kind of see the lucrative area in drugs come to Thunder Bay, and they see an opportunity to make some money, and unfortunately it's often at the detriment of very vulnerable people.
Now, I've lived in Thunder Bay my whole life. I love living here. I know things that people hear all the time that tend to scare them a little bit is that we have a high crime rate or the murder rate and all that type of stuff. Is that something that people need to be concerned about?
Well, I mean, we do. I mean, you look at stats, and people say, it's stats. They say we see, and we do. We do have a high number of domestic violence incidents. We do have, a high number of homicides. But as the homicides, for example, is not something that we control. It's a crime of opportunity. And again, coming back to, we do have a high substance issue in our community, and often those crimes are fueled by, drugs and alcohol.
Now, does it have anything to do with the population? Because I know you think about our population is just over 100,000, so the numbers would sound worse, wouldn't they?
Well, I don't think the population, like I said, a lot of it is it's a crime of opportunity, but it's often a crime of people that know each other. We don't see very often stranger-on-stranger offenses in our city, of serious offenses. Mm-hmm. So I think, people shouldn't be saying, oh, is there a stranger lurking in the dark, waiting to get me? It's really not been the case in many of our serious offenses. So I think we live in a fairly safe community.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Now, you just started in January. What do you hope to accomplish in your term?
Well, it's only been 2 months, but I think we're embarking right now in what I'm calling kind of an organizational change. We're trying to look at, from a diversity and a human rights lens, changes within our service. So I want to focus really on our recruitment, our hiring practices, our mentoring practices, and I also want to look at basically how we do business day to day. How are we training our officers? How are we giving them the tools that they need to be proficient and efficient in our community and be responsible and respectful of the job that they do?
Well, that sounds like a lot of work. Thank you so much for talking with us, and congratulations and good luck with everything in the future.
I appreciate it.
Keep watching. There's more coming up on Where You Live on Shaw TV.